with Tori Weyers, and Tori's our resident artist for the season. Now today, we're talking about color mixing, but listen, we've all got those favorite colors, and sometimes they lead you to a color rut. So Tori, you are here to help us get out of that color rut because we're mixing colors that we don't like.
That's right.
Okay. So how does that work, and how do we know that we're not gonna end up with mud?
Well, sometimes a little mud's okay. Those brown neutrals, I kind of like sometimes. And I think sometimes we go really bright and we never go towards the neutrals. But we're gonna try and not end up with mud. But we are gonna mix colors that we never use. So I like to start by picking a couple colors that are just kind of out on their own. So a light violet, a light green, and it really has a nice violet gray. Obviously, we know that red and yellow make orange, but what color orange is this red and yellow gonna make? So kind of looking at it that way to start with. I've picked a quinacridone magenta and a turquoise color that we're gonna mix here. And I cannot recall a time I've mixed these colors, so we're both gonna find out what happens together.
Very cool. So now, when you mix your colors, so you're putting some water down, even though you're using acrylic.
Yes.
Why is that?
I want these colors to blend kind of smoothly across the page, and this is a really toothy sketchbook paper. So it's just adding a little slickness to start with.
So when you pick these colors, are these just colors you've never mixed or colors you don't like, or does it matter?
It doesn't matter. I like to do both because I think to that point you made about kind of getting in a rut.
Yeah.
We go back to the same colors over and over.
Oh my gosh, I do. I'm terrible about it. I have like my favorite colors. They're like my favorite children. And those are the ones that get dragged out time after time. I mean, those are the tubes that I keep buying over and over. But I know from personal experience that it's really important to like let go and expand and use some of the colors that you think are kind of ugly, because otherwise I think your work always looks the same.
Yes. And then I think using colors, again, that you never use is always good because you're just not used to how they can blend together.
That's so cool. It turned into like a blue purple, a blue violet. I don't know what we would even call that, but it's a really pretty shade.
Blurple.
A blurple, I like that a lot. So when you do stuff like this, I noticed that, of course, you're gonna record exactly what the colors are, because this then becomes a reference for you when you're looking for, I assume, color schemes for other things.
Yes. And really how I got there, so knowing this is that quinacridone magenta and not just a magenta I pulled out, and that's really a teal turquoise, and then how I got to that violet blue, which I actually really like. So I'm glad it came out with a good color.
Now, here's a question I have for you, which is, how do you store sort of your color swatches? Do you put them like around your studio where you can see them? Do you keep them in a book? Like, what's your methodology?
Yeah, a lot of the times I keep my sketchbook pages in my sketchbooks, and I'll have one specifically designed for looking at colors and mixing colors. I also go through, and when I have pages like this one that I'm like, okay, it's just a bunch of violets, then how can I pull that out and maybe use it for something else, make some backgrounds, some doodles, and use them in different ways.
So talk to me a little bit. I see that here you're saying that you mix these with white. So what does that do to our color?
Yeah, so the white tints it and the black shades it. So you can see this whole is really only two colors mixed with blacks and whites, and it got me all the way down to kind of a gray, a really nice neutral gray here. So sometimes it really is about, maybe I love this color, but I need it a little darker or a little lighter, and it can kind of surprise you with where it can go.
That's interesting. Now, why have you done the doodling on top of here? Is that just decorative, or does it serve a purpose?
Sometimes it is really just kind of continuing to explore their pages and how else you can do. I'm always looking for ways to use a white pen on dark colors and just to doodle anywhere I can.
That's super cool. So if we look at the sketchbook that you have right here, will you tell us how this color mixing informed this page?
Yeah, it really makes you more willing to explore your colors and mix and not be worried about that muddy color I think we all think about in the back of our minds.
Because you kind of know what's gonna happen, so that you can sort of guess ahead in terms of what's happening. Now, does it matter when you're mixing paint if one is like an acrylic ink and one is a regular acrylic paint or anything like that?
Nope, I let all mediums work together.
I like that. That's the way it should be. All the mediums should get along. So any last tips about using colors that you may not love?
I think your sketchbook is a great place to explore and experiment, so then you can get to your other work and be more confident.
That's a great tip, Tori. I also agree. I think that your sketchbook is a place for you to let go of preconceptions. So thank you so much, and we will be right back.